Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 4th. It's January. It's 2025. And man, it's just... the cat's out of the bag. Jack's out of the box. Lucifer is roaming the earth, seeking whom he can devour like a hungry lion. And you got to think about it. When you got a year that starts off like this, first, second, third, W, T, F, yeah, you know it's going to be bad. But then you gotta figure this all in as well. I didn't realize that the last day of 2024, lightning not only hit the Statue of Liberty, but it also hit the Empire State Building, the Washington Monument, and the Capitol Building. That seems a little queer, doesn't it? But do you remember when I mean, I'm not saying this to sound like I told you so, but I'm trying to give credence to the things that we've said, the things that you've probably heard me say and repeated to other people. When they go for this, they're going to come at us from every single solitary angle possible. And they are. For instance, I did this yesterday. This was odd. I did not expect this. It's strange how God moves you. I pulled over in the middle of this really crappy town in a dust field, just like this one. And there were planes chemtrailing incredibly bad. So I broke out my camera and started recording it, and inadvertently caught this. They are way up there because I can focus on the moon a lot easier than I can focus on these guys. I don't know what that little object was that I caught, but man, these boys are spraying like there's no oversight. There's no public outcry. Nobody cares. See that? So you saw how bad they were spraying, but for whatever reason, I just pulled over and started recording this because they were chemtrailing the sky so bad. I had to do it. And I haven't videotaped chemtrails in a long time because they've been doing it forever and nobody seems to care. But check out what I caught right here. Pay attention. You'll see it fly right in. What is that right there? How crazy is that? You can see it fly right into frame, and then it just lingers right next to the chemtrails. I've never seen anything like this before, and I've tried to blow it up. See? It flies in, and then it stops, and it's just lingering right there. So, if anybody knows how to blow these things up better, then I'll send you the footage, rjcjr10@yahoo.com. But check this out. I tried to blow it up. Here's one where I tried freeze framing it. And that is what I got. And this is at 3840, 2160. Here's another view. It's kind of got a triangular look going to it. Here's another one. But I mean, you saw it fly right into frame. I had no idea why I pulled over where I pulled over. There was no rhyme or reason to it. And the second I start videotaping, I catch this. I mean, that's God right there. That's all there is to it. Things like this happen to me all the time. I don't know what that little fella is, but I mean, you can see it flying right in. is that? So that's crazy, right? I've never seen anything like that. But we can't forget, because so much is happening, everything is just going straight down the memory hole. Do not forget that Pope Francis opened 5 separate doors, or portals as they called them, concluding on the night that lightning struck 4 major, the Capitol, the Washington Monument, the Statue of Liberty, and I can't believe I can't remember the name of that building. The Empire State Building. The Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, which is Lucifer. All that's happened, and now people are catching all sorts of crazy things going on, and then all sorts of crazy things are going on. We're going into absolute chaos right now, and they're already prepping everybody for another pandemic. Listen, if they come at you with another pandemic, no matter what the cost, do not comply. Do not comply in any way whatsoever at all, okay? A lot of people are under the impression that they're spraying stuff out of the planes to make you sick. Well, traditionally, and according to every doctor that I had on in my live streams for a year straight during the outbreak of the, every one of them told us that you cannot get unless it's, or your body just gets sick on its own, because we eat nothing but fluoridation, medication, genetically modified, so forth and so on, and then fluoride. So your body is going to get sick. You know what I mean? The fact that they're getting ready to pull this again is insane. We're getting the same ridiculous videos from China showing people fall down, and a lot of people that are awake are still under the impression that it was a bioweapon. COVID was simply renaming every single illness people had anyway, renaming it, period. There was no disease. And there isn't one now. But here's something that this channel that I follow, just to make me mad, caught, and I think it's pretty interesting because a lot of people are talking about the fog. So before I talk about the fog, you got to remember this. Almost everybody that you listen to on YouTube is literally getting all their information off of the internet. They're not outside. Do you see what I mean? Last weekend, I got baptized in Louisiana. Right now, I'm in Arizona. I travel. I'm always moving, and I'm always in contact with subscribers that live all over the place. And some people saw the fog, some people didn't see the fog, but the fog has been around, and this channel, JWTV, for whatever reason, I listen to him even though I can't stand it. He caught this, and I think this has got some value to it.
We had the mystery fog hit us a couple of days ago, and today we're walking around and we saw a bunch of these out in the yard. Does anybody have any idea what this is? Because it feels really light, like plastic, and it kind of looks like a geode, but it's lightweight. It's almost got like a waxy texture to it. It's got a really strong chemical smell, and they're everywhere. I mean, my kids are finding little bits and pieces of this. This is the biggest one that we found. I have no idea what this is. It's some sort of mystery object, but I'm really curious because of all of the fog and the chemicals and the powdery substances people are finding. I'm just wondering if this is some type of residue.
In 6:05, I just got in from taking Lola outside, and I noticed this right outside my door. I have like a little mat, black mat, and I noticed this stuff. It's pretty dark outside, so I'm like, what the hell is this? I picked it up.
Okay, I can't hear this woman, but she found this stuff in New Jersey. In New Jersey, all over her yard, falling from the sky. These small crystals. All these small crystals. And the long story short is, it turns out there's a thing called white graphene. You know, the black graphene, the black goo, the stuff that everybody got stuck in their arms when they got vaccinated. Yeah. It's weird. I'm not positive about this, but I'm putting it out there. If you've had anything like this, rjcjr10@yahoo.com. Please don't send me videos of other people. If you've personally interacted with it, or have a story or video, hit me up.
So the acid from the sulfur, which the phenomenon observed when sulfuric acid reacts with water or other substance in the air, resulting in the formation of dense fog, and then you get a foam in color, and then some of this foam can be gray, some of it can be white. And so the thing is, when you look at this clip though, on this guy's window, he's in a UK area. He shows that on his window, you see white looking soot. So again, he's touching it, and then he's seeing that this is the buildup from the fog. He said it's definitely not normal, and the particles are mixing with drizzle to create weird white liquid. Artificial solid fog. Remember I told you about the solid fog, and it makes light reflect from it. It's nanostructures in there, and they can make different wavelengths expand out of them. They did this research in the lab. But check this out. Professor 𝗍𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗍, head of the working group research, is taking a different approach. They develop a highly scattering nanostructure, hexagonal boron nitrate, also known as white graphene, which absorbs almost no light. And so white graphene is what we're looking at. Boron nitrate, though, and more specifically, let's go into boron nitrate, because boron nitrate it's very hard. It's a very hard substance, and it gets extremely solid.
So white graphene, that's the word. So there's something for you guys to latch onto. But here's the deal. I've asked, every video I put out reaches about 100,000 people on all my different platforms. And I haven't gotten any videos of consequence talking about the fog. Like, it's so foggy here, we can't believe it. There was fog in Louisiana the other day, and I had a headache. And I mentioned that, and I said it may or may not be correlated. But I've been hitting up people from California to Jersey to Texas to Florida to Washington State, all the way around the board, asking if anybody's seen anything strange. And all I'm getting is things like this. Because don't forget, these are still a thing. This is footage from a subscriber just the other day.
Oh my, wait, it's already like...
Where am I going to put these?
Yeah, look at it. You can see.
What?
Blue, yellow, green, white,
And it's not even really moving.
purple, pink.
So those aren't drones, because you notice that nobody's talking about drones anymore. It just went away somehow. But it didn't. They're still out there. That's not a drone. That's the same thing that one of my subscribers in Louisiana caught, and then I caught. Those are stars in the firmament, and I believe they're getting more and more. They're paying more and more attention because they see what's going down right now. We literally just watched an enormous series of rituals, and then the year starts on WTF, which is just odd. And then instantaneously we have terrorist attacks, and the terrorist attacks aren't stopping. Because apparently this just happened. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. But apparently some 5 Middle Eastern dudes were rolling through the desert, and they stopped and saw somebody that lived out there, and they were talking to him, and they kept mentioning that we're here to blow up SpaceX. They kept saying that over and over. I find that really odd. I find that really, really, really strange. But isn't it weird how everything is tied to Trump and Elon at the same time? You know what I mean? It's a very, very strange thing. But I just want you to remember one thing. God is in control. God, this has to happen. This has to happen. And it is happening. Every single solitary time we turn around, there's another event. There's another activity. And when I went down to that conference in Tennessee to do security for Anthony Patch, when I first met him, I also hung out with 𝗍𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗍 and Russ Dizdar. Now, Russ Dizdar brought something to the table that I believe is happening right now. And Russ Dizdar, I met him. First of all, when he shakes your hands, I got big paws. His hands were like a bunch of bananas. They just wrapped right around my hand. And you could see in his eyes that this man has gone toe to toe with actual demons. You know what I'm saying? But Russ said this a long time ago, and I believe this is what's going on right now. Sad to say, but it is what it is.
What is the Black Awakening?
It's related to the Red Horse prophecy revelation. It's related to 2 Thessalonians 2, when it says about the day of the Lord, the parousia. That day will not occur until the apocalypse of the Antichrist and the apostasia, the word rebellion or revolt. That's all really defined in the prophecy of the Red Horse. But here's where the term came from and why I used it purposely. When I started dealing with military-oriented, highly trained, programmed and assassins inside of them,
To flick the switch, we can adjust character, change personality.
These are not supposed to exist.
Raymond Prentice Shaw. Listen.
This is a coup. This is rich people funding bad science to put a sleeper in the White House.
When we made a deal with them, I dealt with someone from Fort Bragg for quite a while and a few others. We're sitting in a lake, Conneaut Lake. They reached over and ripped open my shirt to see if I was wired, if I was wiring and recording them. And they were the most sophisticated satanic warrior type person. They knew 5, 6 languages. They knew the ancient Twilight languages. They knew how to conjure. They knew how to use 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏, all these old Pictish languages of the Druids to summon. They are the real Luciferian. They've been through many human sacrificial things. So they sat there to tell me some of those things, what they've been involved with, how they sacrifice a human. I'm listening to all this stuff from them. And then they said to me, you have no idea, Russ, how many of us there are out there. How many satanic, they use the term, chosen ones. You have no idea how many. You have no idea what's coming. We smell Christian blood. We are waiting for our day. And when the call is given, millions of us will be released.
So I'm not showing you that to scare you, but it's a very, 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 very real thing. In the military, the military was completely cleaned out by Obama. Remember the great purge when Obama was here? And we're looking down the barrel of it right now because I find this all completely insane. All of this is completely insane, but it all makes sense. None of it makes sense, but it all makes sense because they're getting ready. They're just going to cause so much strife where it's going to turn into civil war. Civil war isn't off the table. Civil war will happen. It has to happen. Absolutely has to happen. Now, one of the people said that one of the guys was a Green Beret, and they're both from Fort Bragg. The guy from Louisiana, the guy from the Trump Tower, were both from Fort Bragg, which does have a PSYOPs team in there. But there's more than just that. And there's even more than just the military. It goes above and beyond. But I find it really strange that right after the guy drives over a bunch of people in Louisiana where they didn't put up the truck stoppers. And this is what I'm talking about. And strangely enough, Louisiana didn't deploy these. And even stranger than that is when I was out in California, when I did that video where we went out in the desert and I smashed up my truck, the kid that cleaned my truck for me afterwards, we were standing in a driveway that had those, and they were all down. And he said, "Are these drains?" I said, "No, these are those retractable things that stop vehicles, anti-terrorist things." It's just strange that Louisiana didn't deploy them, and it's also very strange that this happened the very next day.
Inside the New Orleans terrace home, you can see that it's been clearly destroyed, the door at least, from the FBI raid yesterday. But if we walk through the home, we see some signs of what he was up to. He had this work area here, lots of different chemicals splayed around, and different electronics. This is, again, a work setup.
So the very next day after the incident, after the FBI raids the guy's house, the news is walking through there. No problem. No escorts, no FBI, no nothing. They're just walking through showing everything. Now, we saw this before in a false flag, and I can't remember what it was called. If any of you guys do, leave it in the comments unless you're on BitChute. But this has happened before. They want everybody to see this. They really want to impress this entire thing on you. And being who I am, I reached out to a couple of my buddies that are in special forces and they're active duty and asked them, this. I said, hey, any chance you would come on a recorded call to weigh in on current events? I can keep you anonymous or not. Let me know, man. Things are happening and your voice matters. He said, honestly, with what's going on, I can't really talk about anything. We're under a lot of scrutiny right now and probably have our phones being monitored. I'll let you know when I can talk. Well, I understand. I get it. But We need to hear from some real guys, because we're hearing that the guy that actually blew up the Tesla and shot himself, completely burned to death, but they found his passport and his license. I mean, that's 9/11. That's right in your face. That's a 9/11. Sorry, God. I know it's a Sabbath. At any rate, they're showing you all these things for an absolute reason. This isn't going to stop. And I don't mean to say the Black Awakening in a bad way, but think about it this way. This world is destroyed. I'm out here in the middle of the desert. There's nobody else out here. There's no wildlife. It's just the world. It's done. It's done. And all of you cannot believe that all of the things that they've done with the Vatican, opening those portals, and then the last day they opened portals, 4 separate bolts of lightning hit 4 separate buildings in the United States: Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, One World Trade Center, and the Washington Monument. Really? Really, guys? Seriously? Yeah, that's a sign. Things are coming. Things are coming, and they're coming quick.
TikTok video by WFF News does an amazing breakdown about the suspicions behind both cases.
This is getting weirder and weirder. The more information that comes out about the New Orleans and the Las Vegas attack, the more it makes me question everything. For one, since when do authorities allow the New York Post to do an MTV Cribs walkthrough of the New Orleans attacker's home? Hey, over here, this was his explosive desk where he would make all of his explosives. Over here is his Quran. Look, right here is the FBI warrant with all the stuff they took. He also left some shirts behind. The Las Vegas attacker had an encrypted messaging app called Signal. And according to his friends, the day of the attack, his security number changed. And then after the explosion, his profile picture and his name changed. You know, he didn't make it, so who was making those changes? Also, according to authorities, everything was incinerated in that blast, except, of course, for his forms of identification. Both his passport and his United States government identification somehow remained intact. Also, nobody's bringing up the fact that the New Orleans attacker rented this truck. Notice on the back of the bed, there's no flagpole. But he had time to assemble a flagpole and put it on the back of the truck and fly a crisis flag, minus the CR, from the back, and put a crisis flag in the interior of the cabin, just to let everybody know who he was standing with, as if he didn't have a lot of other things going on, like, I don't know, planning attack, making sure he found the weakness in the barriers, planting coolers around town. And I'm not even mentioning the other crazy stuff, like the pew-pew wound to the head, and was he or was he not self-driven by a Cybertruck to the front of the hotel. But hey, that's in another video. You can watch that previously. Is it just me, or does something feel very off here?
She's right on the money. The deal going around now, the story is there's a ex-CIA agent who has a YouTube channel, and he does a podcast. And he's saying that the guy that blew himself up in front of Trump Tower in an Elon Musk car, which is strange, but he's saying that this guy was a whistleblower, and he was going to come forward and tell us all about the drones and tell us that the drones were from China. And China was just flexing on us and this, that, and the other thing. Dude, China, United States, Russia, Israel, New World Order. They're all one government. There is no China. We owe China so much money. You don't kill a guy that owes you more money than you're ever going to have in your life. It doesn't make any sense. It does make sense that this is all AI playing games, and God is paying attention, because we're seeing all sorts of angelic things. I don't know what that was next to that plane, the chemtrail plane. I've never caught one of those before, but you saw it. It flew right up there, and even as I'm zooming out, you can still see it way up in the sky with the naked eye. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that, and it was not a drone. But here's the deal. They're talking about anti-gravity, which would be electromagnetics. My bad. I don't use a script. I just talk. They're saying the drones are electromagnetic. You can stay up there forever. Dude, I went to Coral Castle way back when I had a Jeep, okay? I think I had like 500 subscribers on YouTube at the time. I went to Coral Castle, and literally the free energy machine is sitting right there. We've had the ability to make free energy, which unleashes so many different boundaries. If you can understand free energy, you can understand electromagnetism. This isn't new technology. These guys have had it forever and ever and ever. You see what I'm saying? So it just blows me away. But every single solitary time we turn around, somebody's posting a new video about the fog, and everybody's getting sick from it. I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing any of that. If you can show it, words just don't do it anymore. We need to show it. If you can prove it, send it. But otherwise, People are doing right now with the PSYOPs what people did during COVID. They're self-perpetuating it for the government. You're pushing the PSYOP. The fog's killing everybody. Everybody's dead. That's not what I'm finding out. The fog is definitely, suspect, big time. And it's probably a test of some sort. And maybe it is this stuff called white graphene that I've never heard of in my life. But whatever, I'm down to listen. But the other theory that they're spreading smart dust. Dude, smart dust was 10 years old when I talked about it 15 years ago. They've already done that. That's already done. Okay, so it's not smart dust. But who knows what it is, because they're just having fun with it now. They're testing because nobody's doing anything about anything. Maybe a couple of people shot them down, but here's the deal. The government is against you. There is no ISIS, there is no ISIL, there is no Al-Qaeda. It's all Israel and the United States militaries and the CIA. They're not taking care of you, so don't take care of them. You know what I mean? And they're going to come at you with another pandemic, and they're going to keep hitting us over and over and over. I bet tonight, the 4th of January, there'll be another event because it's not going to stop. It's going to escalate exponentially. And the only way around this, the only way to get by this, is if you're a Christian and you believe your Bible, this comes to pass. It's coming to pass right now. Pray, fast, observe the commandments to the best of your ability. Stop looking at your next door neighbor's wife or daughter with lust. I know it's hard to do because believe me. Why do you think I never got my teeth fixed? Why do you think I stopped going to the gym? Because when I discovered that having sex with women, as awesome as it was, because I miss boobs so bad, but having sex with women was awesome, but I discovered it was a sin. I discovered it was a sin, and I thought to myself, I'm not trying to get married. I'm not trying to have children. So I'm just intentionally sinning. And as times passed, it was harder and harder to hook up with somebody that was actually awake anyways. You know what I mean? So I gave it up. And not going to the gym anymore probably backfired a little bit, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? Prayer, fasting, and stand your ground and pay attention. Don't fall for the hype, because so many people are pushing so many different things. A guy at a drive-thru shot 2 customers. Do you know what? That stuff happens. Don't make everything a terrorist event because you're helping the PSYOP. Do you see what I'm saying? At any rate, I hope this made sense. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. Richie from Boston. For now, I'm out.